Good evening, everyone. How are you? Let me check I'm not playing. I am. Oh, there we go. I'll turn it off. I was watching Mythbusters before we came on. How is everyone out there in the chat? Let me see. Who's in the chat? Beth B was here earlier. Hey, Beth B. I love it when she is here. I hope you are doing well. Nana Lana. Diane's here. Hey, Diane. Danny Mitchell. Hey, Danny Mitchell. Woos is here. Gia's here. Jennifer. Marilyn Landis. And Flying DJ. Flying DJ, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. I hope you've been okay. I haven't seen you in the chat in a while, but I do get your emails. Hope you've been doing okay down there in where you live. I won't say where you live. But Diana, hey Diana, how are you? We have a few stories tonight. I don't know how long we're going to go, probably an hour, and then we will wrap up for Friday night. I just hope I don't have anything else playing. I see my microphone going nuts, and it's not just when I speak. No, I don't have anything. All right. Don't dox yourself. DJ, don't dox yourself. He's doxing himself in the chat. Yeah, Kathy Lynch, who's ready for the weekend? Well, it's the weekend here in Australia. I wanted to show you something really interesting and local to Australia. Give me a second. I wanted to show you what's going on down here in Melbourne today. Now, it's sort of like Super Bowl Sunday here in Australia today, well, especially in Victoria and Melbourne, where I live. It's the AFL Grand Final, and I wanted to show you something really cool. You know who these guys are? This is Kiss. So they played the Grand Final down here in Australia. So there's a little video of Gene Simmons rocking out on his axe guitar. And yeah, so they played like, I don't know, it's like about a 10-minute show before the grand final got underway. Not in the middle of the Super Bowl like they do in America. It was pre-game kind of entertainment. Apparently they did really well. Everyone liked it, and yeah, very, very interesting. I didn't know how many people actually knew they were down here or playing. So, oh, Laura G, did I skip over you? I didn't mean to. How are you, Laura G? It's good to see you. Actually, Laura always sends me really interesting like hints. She's like, here, ping, here, there's an update over here. Yeah. Wu says the big AFL Grand Final, go Brisbane Lions, go Brisbane Lions. Oh, my audio was muffled? Really? Let me have a look at something. Oh, I know why. There we go. I fixed it. Sometimes I have on this new motherboard, it has auto switching, auto audio switching. So when you input a new audio source, it automatically tries to switch it to that kind of audio thing. I was not on my microphone, I was on my camera. It accidentally changed it to the camera's microphone and not this one here that's in front of my face. So yes, that was the issue. All right, let's move away from the AFL. I don't have a team this weekend, so I'm not a big don't really care. Gambler says, "Hey chat, it's also the weekend here in my part of it says, why does it say California for me? It's not. It's Canada. Hey Gambler, how's it going? What do you got going for this weekend? All right, let's get on to it. Let's get some true crime. So I wanted to do a little update about what's going on with Lauren Cook, and we're going to do that when I can grab this link. It seems like it just gets a little weirder and a little weirder every day with this lady. So KATU2ABC. Oh, hold on, let me start my camera. There we go. Hey everyone, how's it going? There's the camera. Franklin County, Virginia, the Virginia woman who was reported missing earlier this month along with her 3 children has told TV station WSET why she did it. But she would not say where she was and where the children are. Apparently, so she's been telling people she's out and about, enjoying her holiday, taking the kids to public parks and, giving them the time of their life. But no one's actually seen them. And I find that a little weird. Authorities have said Lauren Cook and her children disappeared in early September, and Cook called WSET on Thursday to try and set the record straight. She says, I just don't have any solid answers as to what's happening with the case. The interview was conducted over an app that can't be tracked, and it began with a video call to confirm Cook's identity. We're going to watch that right now. Let me get out of here.
Thanks, George. The Franklin County woman who was reported missing earlier this month, along with her 3 children, is speaking to us for the very first time. Her husband is also talking for the first time on camera.
Authorities say Lauren Cook and her 3 children have been missing since early September. ABC 13's Alexia Stanbridge spoke to Lauren and her husband about what they say has been the hardest few weeks of their lives.
Missing mom Lauren Cook spoke with me for the first time, wanting to set the record straight.
Lots of people talk about you and assume that they know everything about you.
Our interview was conducted over an app that can't be tracked. It started as a video chat, but because of bad connection, we switched to a phone call.
I just don't really have any solid answers yet as to what's happening with this case.
The case Cook's referring to stemmed from what she says was an anonymous report to social services alleging child abuse. Both she and her husband, Jordan, say that's false.
And then putting an emergency removal order based off of these allegations, it was overstepping their bounds, in my opinion.
Despite a pending investigation, Lauren says lawyers advised her that she could still go on a planned Labor Day vacation. She decided to extend her vacation after she says they got some legal advice. Concerned DSS was going to take away her children.
It's hard to be not really able to come back to your own home.
Jordan's attorney says their social services case was dismissed this week, but adds that doesn't mean it won't come back once they return. Lauren Cook says that's why she's being cautious.
I feel like everything's sort of up in the air.
Cook says they're in a stable location, but won't say where. Jordan says it's hard, but he completely supports her.
There's nothing worse than hearing, I can't come home. I don't know how long this is going to be.
In Franklin County, Alexia Stanbridge, ABC 13 News.
Lauren Cook says it was her mom who filed that missing persons report, but has asked for it to be taken back. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office has told us they can't take her off the missing persons list until they make a visual contact with her and all 3 children to verify that they're not under duress. As for the children, Cook says they're stressed, but otherwise okay.
We've been following the story closely for you from the beginning. You can find all of our previous coverage on this Franklin County family on our website right now at WSET.com. And
So what do you guys think about that? I think that's just adds more murkiness to the situation. So she left to go on a holiday, got some legal advice saying that it should still be okay, and then yeah, she's not coming back because now she's scared about the legal case. I don't know what to think, except for sometimes these type of things you can't run from forever. They build, and you're going to have to answer it eventually, even if it's just to check in with the police to say that, hey, the kids are alive, look, here they are, I'm alive too. So Insightful One says, I think she was just running from social services. Kathy Lynch says, so CPS are investigating her. Beth B says, want to look guilty? This will do it. Yes, I think her behavior has made it seem like there was something wrong. Even if maybe there isn't, I'm not sure, but it doesn't make it seem good. It doesn't mean like, oh, we just went on holiday and forgot all about the court date, that type of thing. It doesn't seem like that. They're saying here it started with an anonymous report to the Department of Social Services alleging child abuse. I think we also read the other night there was accusations of drug use and mental illness within the home, and that's what they were sort of looking into. There's apparently, I'm trying to find out who made the anonymous call, or if they know. I know that her mother did the reported missing call, but not the other one. Yeah, so apparently they have dropped one of the cases in the court And like the father said, it could very well be that they're just waiting for her to come back, and as soon as she comes back, they'll open up the investigation again. Maybe they're just trying to get her to come back to the state of Virginia. She might still be there. She may still be within the same state. Who knows? I don't know either, but let's make this town anonymous. Kazati, hey Kazati, hey Ping and Chat, hey, good to see you. Danny Mitchell says, aren't they school age? No, I think some of them are and some of them aren't. Benjamin, her oldest, is 7. Hannah is 5. So she'd be right on that school age cusp, right? Almost about to start school. And Elijah is 2. So that little child wouldn't be in school. Benjamin probably would be. Maybe Hannah is starting this year or next year. Is that right? 5 or 6? So she said, Jordan Cook said Lauren never missed any appointments that she was aware of. And that's an interesting tidbit. Jordan, her husband, said she never missed any appointments that she was aware of. That's a nice get out of jail free card. And that she has full custody of the kids. So it was within her rights to do what she did. Well, yes and no. If you're ordered to go to court, then you have to go to court. It's not like because I have custody of my kids, I don't have to go to court. That's not the way it works. So you still have to answer your charges or accusations or whatever at court. You can't just be like, no, that's not the way, I don't want to. I don't know if that's sort of what's going on here. She says here, the whole thing has me feeling a little paranoid about the situation with law enforcement. Why do they need me to specifically come in person with the kids? Why even the person who made the report is telling them none of us are missing? So I guess it's just protocol is what's happening. They have a protocol that once someone is reported missing and is on their system, they must make visual contact. It's part of their rules. I don't think they can just wave it away because she wants to. It's sort of so they don't overlook a case. Imagine if this happened. All right, Lauren Cook has gone missing, and she rings into the police station and says, "I'm fine. I'm okay. The kids are okay. Please believe me." And I'm doing okay. The kids were just on holidays. Please believe us. And the cops go, okay, no worries. We're going to take you off the missing person register now. And then 2 weeks later, we hear on the news, a body found of a woman and her 3 children found in the woods in, New York. Missing woman Lauren Cook and her 3 children have been found dead in upstate New York. I mean, that's why they want to make sure they get visual contact and to talk to them in person without anyone else being around, so they can make sure it's not, she's not being coerced or forced to say something. So Insightful One says, I know a case where that happened. Let me know what case is that, because maybe that's why they changed the rules on visual contact. I would like to know what that case is. Look, I don't know. Hopefully she finds a way to get some better legal help. Whoever's been giving her the legal help at the moment doesn't seem to be doing a very good job. Hopefully she can find some better legal advice and I don't know, go home and then meet at her lawyer's office with the police. That way she's protected, and then sort out whatever they have to sort out, and maybe she can leave without having to step foot in a police station. Maybe they can do it that way. Sort of like a meeting. I know they've done that before for other cases. Maybe they could do it in this one too. Danny Mitchell says, Benny Keys especially. Danny says, yeah, they want eyes on those kids. Yeah, that is interesting that while she verified her identity to the news station, she didn't show the children. Now, look, some mums are really protective of their kids like that, like don't want them in the media, and I can understand that. But it is interesting she didn't provide proof of life of the children, and I think that's what everyone's worried about. I see a lot of comments on Web Sleuth and Twitter that people are worried about those children. They just want to make sure they're okay, along with Lauren, but she seems to be okay, judging by the live, like the Zoom call or whatever she did with the news station. Okay, we'll keep an eye on this one. I just wanted to catch up because we talked about it the other night. I think the saddest case this week is probably this one, and I'm gonna jump on it and show you it if I can find it. It's the guy from that movie about the about the football guy. That's great description, Ping. Where is it? No? Okay. I know Crime Online will probably have it. Where is it? Is it down here? There. Okay, share this tab. Judge ends conservatorship for The Blind Side's Michael Oher. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. A Tennessee judge on Friday ended Sean and Lee and Tui's conservatorship over Michael Oher, the former NFL player whose story of poverty and adoption was the subject of the 2009 movie The Blind Side. This was really interesting to me because he's now asking for a full accounting of any money that was handed over to him. Handed over to his the family. Any money that was handed to them on his behalf, he wants a full accounting of that money. And I wonder how much they may have taken in from the movie and like likeness rights and image rights. It says here, while Gnomes did not dismiss the case, Oher has asked the Tuies for a full accounting of monies that may have come into them as part of the conservatorship agreement. He contends they used his name, image, and likeness to enrich themselves, and falsely told him the agreement he signed meant they were adopting him. I don't know, that conservatorship has never meant adopting, really, and I find that interesting that during the time that this happened, was he not told what it meant? Or, I mean, I guess he may have been very vulnerable at the time and, easily coercible. They're trying to offer him something he really wants, which is success and, a football career. They're saying we can make this happen as long as you write this document. Danny Mitchell says they always said they adopted him. Yeah, it is interesting. Their reasoning, from what I remember, was because of his age, they couldn't run an adoption because of how old he was at the time. But I don't even know if that's true. I don't know enough about it legally, but it's good that he's had this conservatorship broken and now he can do his own thing and kind of speak for himself. That's good news. Sort of like Britney Spears in a way, but that hasn't gone so well either. If you think about Britney Spears, after 12 months, 18 months now since she's had her conservatorship ended, hers was for different reason, for mental health. But look at how her life has gone in the last 12 to 18 months. She got out of her conservatorship. She was doing really well for a little bit. She got married. She almost had a baby. She, looked like she was having a great time. And now she's like going to be divorced, and there's more claims of mental health issues. It almost makes it seem like maybe she needed more help than what it seemed like when everyone was, speaking up for her. Modern day slavery, Danny said. Yeah, it could be. We need to know more about here we go. There's another link. Let me see if I can grab this one. Yeah, this was the old, but this was the one that they came up with before. This was the one that we talked about a few months ago. According to ESPN, Oher accused Sean and Lee and Tui of never adopting him after bringing him into the home when he was in high school. Oher said that 3 months after turning 18, the Tuies tricked him into signing a document that placed him into a conservatorship, which gave them the legal authority to make business decisions on his behalf. I wonder why they felt that was necessary. He was 18 at the time. He was an adult. He didn't need didn't need this. He could make decisions with, they could talk together and come to a mutual understanding, and he can sign his own documents. He doesn't need someone to do it for him. I find that interesting. However, Owa has asked the Shelby County Court to end the conservatorship, which they did today, claiming he received nothing from The Blind Side, which brought in $309 million at the box office. I don't think that really has much to do with it. I doubt he would have ever seen anything of that, except if there was some sort of likeness deal, or the guy who wrote the book or whatever gave him a larger cut, something like that. I don't think this really means a whole lot. Unless he signed a deal directly with the studio, with an agent. I want 2% of all, I don't know, movie revenue after costs or whatever. Meanwhile, the Tuohys signed a deal which gave them a one-time payout of $220,000 plus 2.5% of all proceeds from the movie, according to the Tennessean. There you go. Let's see. They always do like that kind of deal, 2% or 1% on the back end. This is the accounting that they need to see. But part of that is them too. Their likeness as a couple and a family was used in the movie. So they would also be entitled to some of that money. Not all of it to Michael Oher either. So it's really complex and sort of tricky how they're going to try and work through these financial documents. They're going to need a really good an accountant or forensic accountant to work through this and see what Michael is actually owed from the start of when he met the Tuohys, and how much they spent on him, like, schooling or whatever, and then how much they actually took from him that is rightfully his. So this could be a long process, really long. Danny Mitchell says the guy who wrote the book was Tuohy's best friend. That's always suspicious, isn't it? And he says no one would have watched a movie about them. No, but I'm just saying they were in the movie. They deserve something. So you have to try and find out where those splits lie within the the money. It's going to take a while to break it down. It's just going to take you're going to have to go through years and years of documents and bank accounts and who signed what. It could take a while. So if they do owe him anything, I hope he gets it. I wonder if this is what they foresaw, just a payday, or were they just trying to help someone and went too far? I don't know if we'll ever know fully. But hopefully he's now free to make his own choices, sign his own documents and things like that. He was an honor student. They thought he was stupid. Yeah, it's sad. At least he's out of it now and he can do his own thing. He's also a Super Bowl winner. He won the Super Bowl with the Ravens in Super Bowl 50 something. I didn't watch that one, but I know he did win the Super Bowl with the Ravens. Oh, down here, Super Bowl XLV. So what's that? I'm so bad at Roman numerals. What's 10 XL5? I know it's 5L. I don't know if someone can work it out. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Someone can tell me. Someone can tell me what that translates to. Danny Mitchell says they wanted him to sign with Ole Miss. Is that who he ended up playing with in college? Did he sign with Ole Miss? I can't remember. Let me have a look. Let's see what Danny is saying about Ole Miss. He played at the University of Mississippi. That's what it's saying. Ole Miss, College Ole Miss, 2005 to 2008. He was drafted in the first round, pick 23. It's pretty good for a first round. I mean, it's the back end of the first round, but all right, let's have a look here. Though he was offered scholarships from Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, and Auburn in South Carolina, Owa ultimately decided to play for Ed Oregon at University of Mississippi, the alma mater of his guardians Leanne and Sean Tuohy. His decision to play for the Ole Miss Rebels team sparked an investigation by the NCAA. The first was that OA's grade point average GPA was still too low to meet the requirements for a Division I scholarship at the time of offer from Ole Miss. That difficulty was corrected by graduation when OA completed online classes through Brigham Young University, that's BYU. The second issue was Tui's pre-existing relationship with the school and the fact that Ole Miss hired Freeze 20 days after OHA signed his letter of intent. Freeze asserted that his position with Ole Miss was not an example of quid pro quo for encouraging OHA to attend the school, but rather the result of his pre-existing relationship with the Ole Miss offensive coordinator, Noel Mazzone. The NCAA did not close its case on suspicion of collusion. However, it ruled that Ole Miss had committed no NCAA violations in its recruitment of OHA. Freeze was found guilty of secondary violations for contacting other Memphis area recruits before joining Ole Miss staff. OHA started 10 games as a guard during his first season with the Ole Miss Rebels before coming a first-team freshman All-American after shifting to position of left tackle for the 2006 season. So he had a pretty storied career in college. He was named to freshman All-American, All-Conference, All-American teams. So this bit's very interesting. It's interesting that they didn't get them on a bunch of other charges and then got them on like a lower violation instead. So yeah, I guess they will unwind the web of deceit and lies. Kenny Williams says, I thought any movie like Blindside with Sandra Bullock in it means it's all good. I mean, you never think that Sandra Bullock's going to do something like that, but you never know. She's got such a nice face. You never know what's hiding behind it. Danny Mitchell said he's got a wife and 4 kids and finds out he has no rights. There's something interesting there, Danny. I don't know. I didn't read the book. I will have to read it at some point. How did he sign his NFL contract if he didn't have legal rights to sign it? And how did he sign any endorsement deals while in the NFL if he didn't have rights because he was in a conservatorship? Did those his adoptive parents, I say in quotations, did they have to sign everything for him when he was in the NFL? I'd really like to know that information. Danny Mitchell says they did. Okay, I'll have to look into that because wouldn't that just throw up red flags for a bunch of people, especially like in the NFL with agents and things like that? It just seems like so bizarre that like they would need his permission or their authority when he's 20. How old would he been when he was drafted? Like 21, 20? So very, very suspect. I think this may have been a long time coming. All right, let's move on. I hope he gets his money or gets some sort of judgment against them and the facts can be laid bare in the court of law. Because this, I'm guessing now that he's got this, he's going to take the next step, which will be a financial breakdown of everything. So that's good. I wonder if they got any of his NFL money. Because he signed a pretty good, if he's a first round pick at 23, he's probably getting, a few million a year. Those first round picks in the back end of the draft get some decent money. It's not like top 5 money where they earn like 5-10 million a year, but they earn a few million every year. So I wonder if they got any of that money as well. Moonlight View overlooked. Yeah, I really would have thought the NFL would have I know NFL's corrupt as well, so everything's corrupt. All right, let's move on. Hopefully we get some more news about what's the next step with this. October 1 is a few days away, and that means we're going off daylight savings tonight. Tomorrow the clocks will change, and it'll be very different the time I jump on the day later. It'll be, I think, an hour earlier, so it'll be a bit different for me. You guys won't notice anything, but I will. Coming on December 1, guys, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I was like, didn't want to have that on air. We go ahead 1 hour. That's right. We go not back. We go ahead. So if I go on at 2:30, we'll probably have to go on at 3:30. So that'll be interesting. Be a bit later. You guys won't notice, but okay. This is what I want to talk about. I mentioned it on Trisha's show. On October 1, for you guys in America, there's going to be a new documentary come out called The Ringleader, The Case of the Bling Ring. And I reckon this is going to be really good. I love documentaries, especially when they deal with crimes that have happened recently or crimes that have melded into pop culture. And at the time, the bling ring was such a big deal. It was sort of like when the internet really started picking up and everyone was tweeting and, talking and texting, like it really reached a fever pitch and everyone was talking about this at the time. So if you don't remember who these people were, they were a group of teenagers who basically broke into celebrities' homes while they weren't there and rummaged through their stuff and pinched it all and put it on social media. And they were like, look what we stole from, Lindsay Lohan's house, and look what we took from this person's house. And they did not take one or two things. They were like ransacking places and taking, jewelry, and they even had a seller lined up for jewelry, and I don't think he ended up being able to sell a lot of it because it was so pricey, so unique that a lot of the jewelry he couldn't get rid of because people knew what was missing. It's not like you stole gold jewelry from a crappy jeweler down the road that looks like every other, piece of jewelry across the US. These were pieces made for celebrities. So they were really, really silly, very silly teenagers. So the case of the bling ring actually looks at one of the people in the bling ring who was very quiet throughout the whole court case and was someone who was not really talked about. Well, not talked about, just kept a low profile. Her name is Rachel Lee, and a lot of people allege that she was a mastermind behind the whole thing. She organized a lot of it, where they would go, who would come with them, and what houses they would target. So I wonder if we can play the trailer. I think this would be really interesting because I cannot wait. There's been a couple of iterations of this before. There was one that was done as a movie. It was not very good. There was another documentary that was released last year. It wasn't very good. Let's see if we get done by HBO. We shouldn't. It's only a minute. All right, hold on.
If they saw me on the street, most people, if they saw me on the street, they'd be like, oh, she's just a normal person. But there's always the anxiety. What if they realize who I am and what I did with the bling ring?
These kids robbed a bunch of celebrities that they wanted to emulate.
They were almost like these young stars, except for one of them.
Rachel Lee kept a much lower profile.
I didn't like my world. Going into a celebrity home and trying on their stuff, I was able to live in their world. Me and Nick, we didn't see any of our other friends as brave as us. I was like, I want to be a badass. We kept wanting to go to the next level.
I don't think that there was any other case before them that used social media.
They studied when these young celebrities would be home.
They would be wearing items that were stolen and posting it on social media.
People were obsessed. The courthouse was swarmed. Sofia Coppola turns it into a feature film.
It's like the vortex of fame.
Rachel never gave an interview. Everyone else has been like, she was the mastermind. She was the ringleader.
I don't know what happened to Rachel Lee.
Hello, everybody.
So sorry, it's not HBO. It's HBO Max. So you can watch it on HBO or HBO Max in a couple of days. I really cannot wait. I think this will be really interesting to get some more background information on how, you know, they started doing this. It takes a lot of balls to go and be like, let's break into a celebrity's home. You don't know if they've got security. You don't know if they've got, dogs or whatever. It could have been really disastrous. But these kids, full of teen bravado, broke into these places and flaunted all their stuff on social media. So did they serve? Kathy Lynch says, did they serve time? From what I know, I don't think there was a lot of jail time. I think there was a little bit. Some people went to rehab. I can actually tell you. Hold on. Let me have a look at jail time. Says here, Prugo was the first of the group to be arrested and confessed to the robberies, pled no contest to the burglaries at Lindsay Lohan's house and Audrina Partridge's home, served 1 year of his 2-year sentence in jail. He was applying for rehabilitation certification and a pardon from the governor. Also, Prugo is now married to his husband of 5 years and runs an online business with him. Nears pleaded no contest to a felony charge, serving 32 days in county jail for the burglary of Orlando Bloom's house. She was then sentenced to a year in residential rehab for her drug addiction. Nears has been sober for 11 years and is busy raising her two children, spending time advocating for people struggling with substance abuse. So at least there's a couple of them that they did do some sort of jail time, not that long. At least I think what was the longest there? A year? So not a crazy amount of time. Somebody just served 32 days. The other one, I know this one, she served a year in a rehab center. The rehab owner actually paid for her entire year to stay at that rehab place. It was a real fancy one, like, down in Malibu, high class. It was, so she got to spend an entire year there. The owner of that rehab center actually went to her court date and was there watching the, court process in support of her. So it seems they had some pretty powerful friends to be able to get out of jail, basically. Marilyn Landis. Marilyn Landis says, my husband died 5 years ago, September 30. Marilyn, that is awful. You are such a great friend to this channel, to Trish, to Web Sleuths, that, I heard you speaking about your husband before over the years that I've known you. And I think the first year I met you, he'd been gone 2 years, a year. So I can't believe, we're this far down the track now. But, I'm very sorry. I can't imagine what it's like to lose your life partner. I think that would be one of the most painful things anyone could go through. You find someone that you love and then, you hope you're going to stay together and maybe die within, altogether or within a few months of each other. That's the fairy tale. And when that doesn't happen, I don't know how difficult it would be to go on. So the fact you're here today, still with us and doing good, I think is a testament to how strong you are, Marilyn Landis. So chin up. I hope you do something to celebrate him this weekend. Maybe, I don't know, cook his favorite meal and eat it, and I don't know, reminisce over what he did with you and things like that. That would be pretty cool. She says, Marilyn Landis says, married almost 40 years. Wow, that's a long time. What's 40 years in the marriage thing? Like, how they do like silver card, like paper. What's 40 years? Silver? Is it silver? And then 50 is gold? or diamond, something like that. Maybe someone knows in the chat. Oh, Nanalana says, "Hey Ping, can you look up the story about the Sycamore Gap tree in England, aka Robin Hood tree?" Yes, I did see that earlier today. We can have a look if you guys want to see. So this is really sad, and I really hate this type of stuff. It's not something I enjoy because I feel like it's taking away a bit of history. It says here, the Sycamore Gap tree, a 16-year-old boy and man in his 60s arrested after famous tree deliberately felled. So you can see that there's a video of it with the tree on its side missing from its stump. Such a famous tree. I know a lot of people visited it if you go on holidays to the UK. It says here, a famous tree that stood sentient on Britain's Roman-built Hadrian Wall for more than 200 years has been deliberately felled in what authorities have called an act of vandalism. The sycamore tree located in Northumberland National Park in northern England was made famous to millions around the world when it appeared in Kevin Costner's 1991 blockbuster film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Police have said they have arrested a 16-year-old boy and a man in his 60s following the incident, which was believed to have taken place overnight on Thursday. The tree, known as a spot called the Sycamore Gap, was located on the historic UNESCO World Heritage listed Hadrian Wall, which was constructed around 1,900 years ago to guard the furthest northwest frontier of the Roman Empire. There you go. You can see a little bit of let me make it bigger. You can sort of see that brick wall, and it stood for almost 2,000 years. That's really amazing. That kind of stuff blows my mind when you can see man-made materials that have been around for so long and stood the test of time. I love that kind of stuff. It's sort of like a way of looking back into the past. It's really cool, but it's really sad. Look how pretty that looked with the tree, and now it's gone. Now it's just a hillside. The national park is urging visitors to stay away while the site was made safe. Police, who earlier said they were investigating what is believed to be a deliberate act of vandalism, said a 16-year-old youth had been arrested in connection with the incident. There's a photo of what it used to look like in that area with the tree in the middle of the, the little valley here. Such a pretty landscape in the UK. He said he remains in police custody at this time and is assisting officers with their inquiries. Northumberland Police posted on X, aka Twitter, adding that the investigation is still at a very early stage. The man in his 60s was arrested subsequently. We hope this second arrest demonstrates just how seriously we're taking the situation and our ongoing commitment to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Prior to the arrest, the police force described the tree as a world-renowned landmark. The vandalism has caused understandable shock and anger throughout the local community and beyond. Police Superintendent Kevin Waring said this is an incredibly sad day. The tree was iconic to the northeast and enjoyed by many who lived or who had visited the region. Anyone found to be responsible for the damage, which is believed to be a deliberate act of vandalism, can be expected to be dealt with swiftly and appropriately. Yes, they are probably going to throw the book at him because I think it made a lot of money for the area too, from people visiting. So it's now tourism dollars that will be lost to the area. So it's a big deal, unfortunately. And why? Look how nice it was. It wasn't hurting no one. Really annoying when people do shit like that. Let me check what you guys are talking about, if I can find you. Did I accidentally get rid of you guys from my screen? No, there we go. There we go. Candy Williams says, who hurts a tree? I know, right? Something that's been around so long with the wall. I mean... Flying DJ says, 40th anniversary gift equal Ruby. Thank you, DJ. That's good information. So yeah, Marilyn Landis, I hope you do something fun this weekend to remember your husband. I really do. And we're all thinking of you here. Kathy Lynch says, I want to see the redwoods in California. I don't know, is there still a lot of them left in California after all the fires that have been raging through California over the years? I hope maybe there would be regrowth or some of them left. I know some of them are really old, like 100 or 200 years old, and they're really big. Like you couldn't even put your arms around them. They're just massive. So actually in Australia, in Tasmania, we have similar trees that are really big and very, very old, like, 100, 200 years old. They actually cut a bunch of them down recently, and someone caught footage of them on the trucks. And you could just see they almost look like from dinosaur era. They're just so monstrous and huge. And everyone was really upset that they cut them down. They're like, at a time where we can't keep enough trees in the ground, you're going down and cutting down the ones who lasted like 200 years. And locals were very, very upset by it. Hey, Vegemite Smile. Vegemite Smile says they are probably lucky the police got to them before the townsfolk. I agree. I think they may have got a bit of an ass whooping if they got caught by the locals. Oh, Moonlight View says 45 years for me and Mr. Moonlight View. We're going to have to start a campaign for Mr. Moonlight View to come on, like you guys do with Mrs. Ping. We're going to have to do the reverse. We're going to have to hassle you, Moonlight View. Actually, she's here today. I'll see if she'll say hello to you guys. Hold on. Are you gonna say hello?
Hi everyone.
That's all you get. I'm not even sure if you could hear that, but that's all you get. Kathy Lynch says, hey, I didn't get rubies for our 40th. Kathy Lynch, you need to go and demand your rubies from whoever didn't give them to you. All right, I have one more story for the night, and then we're going to wrap up. I really appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. Sorry about yesterday. I know we said we're going to do one and we didn't. I ended up getting caught up with something and I wasn't able to do it. Actually, I just came across this. I don't know if Trish did this one, but I remember when Trish spoke about this particular story. I wonder if I put it up, you guys tell me if Trish did this one tonight. But it says the socialite shover gets 8.5 years in jail for killing beloved vocal coach. That's her, and that's the lady she killed. It says the Long Island socialite who shoved an 87-year-old Manhattan vocal coach to the ground, causing a fatal head injury, was sentenced Friday to 8.5 years in prison. Lauren Pazina, 28, pleaded guilty last month to first-degree manslaughter in the death of Barbara Mayer. In court on Friday, Judge Felicia Menon handed down the sentence and told Penzana that she was really concerned about your apparent inability to take responsibility for your actions. That's like getting told your parents are really disappointed in you. It's like the worst thing a judge could say to you. It really is. The judge isn't calling you a bad person or whatever. It's just basically saying that you're so wrapped up in your own head and you're like what's in it for you that you can't see what your own actions are doing to everyone around you. It's like the worst insult a judge could tell you. It says here, I'm going to try to pronounce this better. Penzina and her fiance had been out drinking wine on the night of March 10th, 2022, celebrating their upcoming wedding. The couple were at Chelsea Park, a block away from the Augustins Chelsea residence, having a meal they'd brought from a food truck, when a park employee told them they had to leave because the green space was closing. At her bail hearing on May 10th, prosecutors said she didn't take it well. The defendant became angry, started shouting and cursing at the park employee, threw food at her onto her fiancé, and stormed out of the park. As she angrily stormed off, she encountered Gustin, called Gustin a bitch, basically, and pushed her as hard as Miss Gustin had ever been hit in her life. Gustin was able to give a friend an account of the shove before she lapsed into a coma. She died 5 days later. That's horrible. You think these tiny things like sliding door moments and they affect your life forever. A lady dies, you go to jail for 10 years, all because you got angry because you got told you had to leave the park. That's it. That's all it was. You got told you had to leave an area, and now you've changed not only your life, but another family's life for the worse, all because of your simple actions. It's really stupid. Guston's grandson, AJ Guston, told the court on Friday he had no sympathy for her and that her act had ruined so much of his life that he loved, according to the Gothamist. He testified that he can't listen to recordings of his vocal lessons with his grandmother without crying, and that he lived in fear in New York City, a place his grandmother had loved and never feared. I curse you, Lauren. For the rest of your days, may you be miserable. For herself and Penzina, she understood Mayor's Guston's anger. If it was my grandmother, I would be broken and my life would be shattered, she said, adding that she was in a drug and alcohol abuse program, meets regularly with a counselor. I am just so sorry. I wish I could take it back. See, you've got to be careful of your actions and what you do, even in the heat of the moment. Just a shove. She shoved the lady, It changes everything. 8.5 years for killing a woman, I think is a pretty small sentence. I think it could have been much larger. She could have got done with, there's a homicide charge you can get done with, but they would have to prove intent. I guess that's why they went with the manslaughter. Laura G says, good for him. The worst possible curse is may you get exactly what you deserve. I agree. Gambler says, I can just envision her being pissed because she wasn't walking fast enough. Right? I could see that she's just so mad that she couldn't get her time in the park, and then she's being told to leave. And, why are you picking on me? I was just sitting in the park. And then she shoves an old woman. Like, when you're in primary school and you get taught, don't put your hands on other people. It seems like a lot of people in life could really use that lesson as an adult. Don't put your hands on other people. It's just a simple thing. Unless you're giving them a hug and they are inviting it, just keep your hands to yourself. It's a real simple lesson we're all told when we're like 3 years old. Don't touch someone else unless you're invited to. That's literally it. And maybe we should be a sterner message to people out there that we should take those simple lessons that we're taught when we're young and apply them to our adult life. Because maybe this lady would still be alive and this other lady would not be in jail and she'd be planning her wedding right now or be married, Really, really, she's going to do probably 4.5, 5 years in jail, and she'll be released on parole for the rest of it. So she'll be out in a few years or a couple of years, but I hope she learned something from it. I really do. Maybe it'll change the type of person she is, make her more insightful to her own actions. We all can affect other people's lives, either for the better or for the worse. And we get angry and get worked up, but you just got to remember that your actions could really affect someone else to the point where you do something and don't realize how much you're going to affect them. Like, imagine if you were in the same situation and you didn't push anyone, but you told someone to go, F off and, get out of the way, you stupid whatever. And that person was already on the edge from having a bad day. And then they go and kill themselves. And then you find out 2 weeks later that that person you yelled at and you were the tipping point. I mean, geez. You just got to remember that our actions all have consequences. I didn't hear anything go off, so I'm not going to bother to check the donations tonight. Thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. Did we do an hour? Yes, we did. We did our hour, and I hope it was an interesting one. I'll be back maybe tomorrow, but then I'm back with Sunday Nights with Ping on Sunday, which will be a really good show. I've got a bunch of stories that we've been working on for, throughout the year, a few that have updates, a few that just need to revisit, and a couple that have been sent in to me from people. I have some lined up that nice people sent me emails that I want to address. Amy sends me emails. Pamela. I just want to say people's first names. Dennis. I won't say who Dennis is, but Dennis. Who else sends me? A bunch of people send me emails all the time. Shelley does. Susan does. A whole bunch of Margaret sends me emails. A whole bunch of people. So we have a whole bunch of stories that I want to address on Sunday, kind of like a viewer special. A viewer special of people sending in stuff they want looked at. So that'll be Sunday Nights with Ping. I will try and do a show tomorrow, but no promises. And then we will be back Monday night. And then that'll be it. That'll be it for the week. So love you all. Thank you for joining me tonight. Have a great Friday night. And be back tomorrow night for Woo Woo Sunday night or Saturday night with Trish. Go and talk spooky stories with her. And if you have a spooky story, go talk to her about it tomorrow night. She's always looking for people who have had paranormal experiences or seen ghosts or something like that. Actually, before we go, the other day I was in my house and I was in the hallway, right? And I kind of looked into my bathroom. It was like a flash. And I saw a person standing there, like full standing there. And then I looked again and they were gone. And they were like all dressed in black. They were pretty tall. And I was just standing there going, wait, what did I just see? It was really bizarre. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. So freaky things happen every day. If you have those type of stories, go tell them to Trish tomorrow night. Good night, everyone. Have a great Friday night. Thanks for joining me here at Nights with Ping. It's been fun. It's been nice to get back on. See you later. Good night. If I can find my good night button. There we go. See you later.